Coming up on today's show, we'll be going through all of the big releases of October, including Joker, Folie, Deux, Transformers 1 and more.
And we'll be giving you the lowdown on our continuation of 4DX season, where you can see some classic movies for just £5 British.
Plus, we'll be telling you about all of the re-releases, Star Wars season, Batman season and more. Hello and welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I'm Luke Owen.
And I'm Laurie Blake, and we are here at the O2 Cineworld to tell you what you can watch in cinemas in October 2024.
And we have got some big movies to discuss this month. Joker, Folie, Deux, Smile 2, Transformers 1 and Venom The Last Dance, as well as a whole lot more 4DX and a whole hell of a lot more to talk about. So let's go get some snacks and we'll get into it.
All right.
Well, we are going to kick things off this month with a huge release, a film that we've been waiting for quite some time now. Joker, Folie, Deux. This is the sequel to the Joker origin movie that we got back in 2019. Here we are 5 years later. Joaquin Phoenix is back as the Joker, now with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
And there's going to be singing and dancing and all sorts. Yeah, hey, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell the people. So yeah,
they just express their emotions through song, Luke.
It's been this very weird thing about this. This is a musical. It's like a popcorn music. What do they call it? A jukebox musical.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of musical numbers in there. They express themselves through music and through dance. And it's very cool. It's a very interesting way to kind of go through the relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. Particularly like the famous image of them is like the Joker behind her and Harley Quinn with her arms up in the air to be like, it looks like a dancing like scene. But because Hollywood now is afraid to tell people that they're musicals, they are doing so many interviews where they're like, "Oh, it's not a musical though."
No,
it's not a musical.
No. They just sing a lot. They just like singing.
They just express their emotions through the medium of song.
But also, it's one of those things where you can imagine it working in this scenario specifically because this is a film about people who have a very rich imaginary world, shall we say, or like psychosis. It's like the whole first Joker is about his whole kind of imagined persona, and he's got this complete internal world that's warped comparative to reality, and like this is now about these two people who find each other through a shared psychosis, I guess, and they're having this kind of expression of their relationship through that. So it's like, is in the same way that in a regular musical, is the singing real? Or is it like, is the singing like a soliloquy in a play of like, here's me now expressing everything I'm feeling internally out loud, and it's not actually out loud. It's just somebody's internal monologue. This could all just be internal monologue. Like
it's just all in their heads.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that stylistically, it's a really interesting choice, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it on the big screen. I think this has got some really good ideas in there, and I'm very excited by this. And I actually just wish they'd be more open and upfront about being like, yeah, we're expressing ourselves through music and song, and it's a musical. And isn't that a bit different to all the other comic book movies you're going to go see?
I mean, it's not the strangest thing that's even happened in a Batman like film or like in any bit of Batman media. Batman has got so many weird villains. It's like, yeah, sure, the Joker and Harley can sing, and it's like that's quite fun and like very in fitting with those two characters specifically as well.
Absolutely, and the tagline for the movie is "Life's a stage." So
yeah,
like it should be.
It's not a musical, man.
Yeah, it's not a musical though.
No. But I think this is it. It can still have all of the things that you liked about Joker without that detracting from it at all as well. It's like, it's this kind of really intense, modernized look at this character, but very stripped back from kind of superheroics.
Yes.
And much more about like somebody's, their kind of mental state as they go into this, as they become this kind of villain. And you can do all of that stuff as well as have it be a musical.
And you can go see it in IMAX, it's in 4DX, it's in Super Screen, and it is in Screen X as well. And actually, speaking of 4DX, if I may, up until October 3rd, the 4DX season is still ongoing. We've extended it out, so you can go see a bunch of 4DX movies, or a bunch of movies in 4DX, for just £5 English, just £5, and we have got some great movies in this lineup. You can go see The Matrix, Jurassic Park, Twister and its sequel Twisters,
as well as Despicable Me 4, Top Gun Maverick, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, A Quiet Place, Day One, and The Dark Knight.
Speaking of Batman, you can go see The Dark Knight in 4DX. Now, of those, I know you've seen The Matrix in 4DX.
Yes, I have, yeah.
But is there anyone out there that's on that list that's jumping out to you that you want to go see?
Luke, it's me. What do you think I'm going to say? I'm going to say Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park! The greatest film of all time!
You just feel like the seat's rumbling.
Yes, this is it. Whoa, why is the goat gone?
I'm picking Twisters out of that. Because A, I've already seen it in 4DX and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But B, it's really good.
The seats go all the way around.
Oh, it's amazing. Like the water effects are I came out of that film sopping wet. It was awesome. I had a great day out. The following week on October the 11th, a film that I know you and I are very excited about because it's very near and dear to our hearts. Transformers 1 is on the cinema screens. This is an origin movie for the relationship between Optimus and Megatron, as well as spending some time on Cybertron and learning about the Transformers.
And learning about society before it fell, which I think is always an interesting thing with the Transformers, because like most Transformers media always dives into the war has already begun, Cybertron's already a ruin, and now it's a race to get Energon or the Allspark or whatever bit of
they've come to Earth,
whatever MacGuffin they've invented for that specific film. And it's always it's normally on Earth as well. So like actually going to Cybertron and seeing the state of play and making Megatron a sympathetic character, because I think a lot of like Transformers media outside of movies and TV series has really dived into that. Like a lot of the IDW and Image comics and Dreamwave comics have really gone deep on the backstory of Megatron and like worked out, kind of made the Decepticons more than just we're just evil for the sake of evil.
Yeah,
and it's
ironically fleshed him out.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that's really interesting to see on the big screen, and like it's a cool way of doing it through the kind of animation means, and like really just being like, this is a movie about the big robots, so we are just doing CG only. No Shia LaBeoufs here.
Well, that's the interesting thing, it being animated. Because
Yeah.
when they first announced this movie way back when, this movie got announced like years and years and years ago, to the point where like within the Transformers fandom, this became a joke because everyone was like, that's never going to happen. That was it. Then a trailer came out, I was like, the film is
God,
real.
it's real.
It is real. So, but this is the first animated Transformers movie since that original The Transformers the movie.
The greatest movie of all time, except Jurassic Park.
Which it's one of my, I genuinely love that movie.
Yeah.
Like it is, I've got a lot of childhood nostalgia for that movie. And this is the first animated movie of Transformers since then.
Yeah, Orson Welles just phoning it in as Unicron. What a movie! What a movie!
It's incredible. Judd Nelson. So Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron.
Yeah.
But
Eric Idle.
Exactly. But we've got a big cast here as well because we've got Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Keegan-Michael Key is also in it as Bumblebee, or B. What's his name in the film? He doesn't have the Bumblebee designation just yet. He's like B-51 or something like that.
Not Goldbug yet.
Yeah, no. So it's an interesting cast. I'll be really keen to see what they kind of do with these roles, because I think also like there is so much about Optimus Prime, for instance, that's like iconic because it has been the same voice, for so long, Peter Cullen, and then it's like to take it away and then, because he's not technically Optimus Prime yet, is he? He's Orion Pax before he becomes Optimus Prime. So like seeing these characters done with a new kind of take, but then it all being in keeping as well with the Transformers timeline, because they've merged a lot of the continuity in Transformers now, because previously it was just like a Wild West of like, do whatever you want for every TV series, and then...
It doesn't matter, they're dumb kids.
Yeah, and now Hasbro have actual rules about like the aligned continuity where everything has to fit into a certain, like there are some constants in the Transformers universe.
Because those dumb kids are now adults going to see these movies.
Well, this is the cool thing though, is like this is an origin story, and this origin story will then hopefully be a really good lead-in for like all future Transformers films, as you want to watch this because you want to know how it all began, and that's going to give you a really great, if you want to get into further Transformers stuff, like the comics or TV shows or whatever it might be, this is the onboarding process, so go watch this.
Yeah, and much like Joker as well, early reviews that have come out for this are very positive. People are really, really enjoying this. On a very different scale of things though, because if you screen 1 over here is Transformers 1, if you just go down the corridor a little bit and then hang a right to go into screen 2, Terrifier 3 is out this week. If you don't know the Terrifier series, it is a horror series that is pushing horror and people's tolerance for horror to its limits. Terrifier 2 in particular, there was lots of reports coming out of people throwing up while watching that movie and having to like leave the cinema screen because it is like gross. The second one in particular is like 120 minutes long. It's like it's like really long, and people was like, "Oh, it's too long." It's like, no, that's the point. Because at about sort of minute 40, it becomes too much, and then you're there for another hour and 20 minutes afterwards.
So if you're a hardcore horror fanatic, this is the one for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was a good month for it. It's the best month for it, in fact.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Terrifier 3 because like I loved Terrifier 1, loved Terrifier 2, and I can't wait to see the madness of Terrifier 3. And it is spooky season, which means if you go down the cinema hallway a little bit more, hang a left into Screen 3, you can go see Salem's Lot, which is the new version of the Stephen King classic.
I feel like there's a bit of Salem's Lot that lives rent-free in my brain and has done since I read the book as a kid. And it's the bit where they're like scratching at the window, like asking for their friend to come out and play after they get to it. It is a fundamentally creepy book, so it'll be interesting to see what a new adaptation does to it.
Or if spooky season is not your bag and you're looking for the complete opposite of Terrifier or Salem's Lot, we're doing re-releases this month of Paddington and Paddington 2.
Unless you're scared of bears.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you think Peru is terrifying. Then
hey, it's deepest, darkest Peru. It's not just like regular Peru, man.
I really hate marmalade. It scares me. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. But yeah, the re-releases of Paddington and Paddington 2, arguably, we've used this term a lot, but arguably some of the greatest movies ever made.
I do genuinely think Paddington 2 is an exceptional movie.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
It's so good. It's really heartwarming. It hits all the right comedy notes. It's friendly to kids, but also friendly to adults. It's a great movie.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's beautiful. I haven't seen it in a while either, so I'm looking forward to going back to see it on the big screen.
And Hugh Grant is absolutely just killer in that film.
He is
He's so good.
And lastly for this week, we have a release of Buffalo Kid. But if you do want to enjoy your spooky season stuff, October is full of spooky season stuff. I'm going to take you through some of the releases we've got for this month. So, for example, on Friday, the 4th of October, you can go see the 15th anniversary release of Zombieland, and on Saturday, the 12th, you can go see the 10th anniversary of genuinely one of my favourite horror movies ever, The Babadook.
Or if you fancy seeing an absolute stone-cold horror classic, you can go see the 1976 original version of Carrie on Friday, October the 18th and Saturday, October 19th. Or on Friday the 25th of October or Saturday 26th of October, you could see A Nightmare on Elm Street. And finally, you could see the original Saw on Halloween itself, October the 31st. Game over.
I mean, perhaps the scariest thing about that is the 20th anniversary. I went to go see that in my first year of university.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually, the dates on those are terrifying.
20 years ago, that was in my first year of university, which I don't like that much. But I do love the film.
What a film.
It's a fantastic little film. But yeah, if I could put over The Babadook for a second, like you want to talk about sort of the idea of psychosis and stuff. The Babadook is a brilliant movie that is about that, of just like, is it really a spooky guy that's in a book, or is it just a mother who is terrified that her son is going to die and she's creating this whole world?
Yeah, is it just grief?
Is it just grief?
Is it just grief?
It's a classic tale.
It's a classic
horror.
Just grief? Is it just grief? Not Saw though. That's not what that's about.
No, that is about hacking.
That is actually just about being horrible. Yeah,
it's really bad.
He's a real nasty guy.
Yeah. And spooky season continues because on October the 18th, Smile 2 is released. We're actually doing a double bill of this, by the way. You can go see Smile and Smile 2 on Wednesday the 16th, so a couple of days before Smile 2 is out. So Smile 1, when the trailer for that came out, my wife couldn't finish the trailer. It's like, I've got to show you the trailer for this movie. Yeah. Started playing it, she was like, no,
not for me. No, thank you.
You can stop this one.
I hate people smiling.
I do not want to see this movie.
I don't like people smiling.
She was so good.
What are they happy about?
It's just like a very creepy visual. That poster is very vivid. I think it sticks in people's memories of just that woman just very like creepily smiling down the line.
I think it fits into that kind of the same horror category as like It Follows and things like that, where it's like, you're just so intently watching the screen for any sign of somebody making the face, or like in It Follows, like all those shots where it's like crowds and then you're looking for the one person walking directly at camera. It's that same sort of horror cinema where you get so sucked in. Paranormal Activity is another great example of that. Like, you just are analysing every frame for the moment. And I think Smile does such a good job of that, of like that kind of blink and you'll miss it. Someone in the background is just making eyes at the camera and smiling in this like horrible rictus grin. It is utterly terrifying.
And I'm very excited.
Yeah.
But again, the great thing about spooky season, one of my favourite things about it, is the hot and the cold, the light and the shade, because you go see Smile 2, or you can go see DreamWorks' new animated movie, Wild Robots.
This looks lovely. This looks a really nice film.
Genuinely looks like a modern-day Iron Giant.
It does, yeah, it really does. It's got that kind of, robot learns to live with nature kind of vibe. It's the mechanical versus nature. Yeah. It just has that excellent. It looks like it's going to be heartwarming. It looks like it's going to be one of those ones where you're going to cry.
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's definitely, it's got big cry territory written all over it.
My wife couldn't watch the trailer for Smile 1. She also struggled to watch the trailer for Wild Robot because she was like, no, I'm going to cry.
Yeah,
like,
I'm feeling weepy.
Yeah, I'm feeling so weepy already. I'm not sure I can watch this full movie. So it might be one of those ones. I remember going to see
What if something happens to the robot, Luke?
Or the bird.
Or the bird. Oh no.
I remember we had to go see Up, and I saw it in 3D.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think they put it in 3D because then you can wear the glasses and hide the tears. That
you could also stuff tissues in between the glasses and your face to just sort of catch it.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those ones I'm going to there's just thing in my eye.
Yeah, no. I was watching Smile, actually. That's why I'm crying.
Popcorn to dab my tears away. And then lastly, for our new releases on October 25th, Venom, The Last Dance.
Ooh, this is the interesting one. This is the point where you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? Because we've already had teases of Venom's breaking into the MCU and all of that stuff. This is the film that's going to cement whatever the future of Venom, the character, in the wider Marvel universe is going to be.
Yeah, and they have done some big teasers here because we did Carnage in the last movie, and now they're teasing, Null is in this one now.
The god of the symbiotes.
And so this does feel like this is the end of the trilogy. This is the end of Venom. This is the end of Tom Hardy's time as Venom, presumably.
Yes.
Or is he going to be setting up something big? Because like Null is not a tiny character.
No. Well, Null's connected to so much in the Marvel universe. Like the weapon that Gore, the God Butcher from Thor: Love and Thunder, has in the comic books is a sword made of a shard of Null. Yeah. It's all interconnected and interwoven. Like, Null is a huge deal character. Has been responsible for some of the biggest comic book arcs of the last couple of years as well. Like they've done like Carnage Reigns and a few other. I think it was Carnage Reigns, but they've done a huge like Carnage takes over the world kind of storyline. Obviously, there's all the other symbiotes as well that Null is responsible for, like your Scream, Agony, Toxin, all those kind of guys. So like, this is a huge month for that. And I know a lot of this because Marvel Snap's doing is specifically doing a symbiote month, and I think that's all to tie in with Venom as well.
Yeah, this is a very interesting. I think you're right. Like, it's where this goes now for the MCU, or what it actually does tie into the MCU. And yeah, I'm excited to see what that means. We also have some re-releases for you. On Saturday the 28th, we have the re-release of 2019's Joker, so you can go see that before seeing the new one. And also on Saturday the 28th, you can go see the re-release, the 20th anniversary re-release of Shaun of the Dead.
And on Monday the 30th, you can go and see The Batman in honor of Batman's 85-year anniversary. As well as on Wednesday the 2nd and Thursday the 3rd, we can go and see Mean Girls, none for Gretchen Wiener.
And on Friday the 11th, Saturday the 12th, Sunday the 13th, and Monday the 14th, get ready for Gladiator 2 by re-watching the original Gladiator. And then on Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd, and Saturday the 26th, legit one of my favorite movies. I actually prefer it to the original, and I cannot explain why. It's probably because they go to the future. Back to the Future 2 has its 35th anniversary re-release. Go see what the future of 2015 looks like in 2024. We also continue to celebrate Star Wars season with re-releases of the original and new movies, including Sunday the 29th, you can go see Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. On Sunday the 6th, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. And on Sunday the 13th, Episode 7, The The Force Awakens.
And continuing the modern trilogy, you can see The Last Jedi, Episode 8 on Sunday the 20th, and Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker on Sunday 27th.
We have autism-friendly screenings of Beetlejuice on Sunday the 6th, and you can go see Smile 2, an open caption preview, on Thursday the 17th.
But if event cinema is more of your thing, on Saturday the 5th of October, you can go see the Met 2024's performance of Offenbach's Le Conte d'Othman. On Tuesday the 15th, you can see the Royal Ballet's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. On Saturday the 19th, you could go see Janine Tesori's Grounded. And on Saturday 26th and Sunday 27th, you can see Wolf Witch Giant Fairy. And finally, on Wednesday the 30th, you can see the English National Ballet's performance of Swan Lake.
But I'm afraid that's all we've got time for on this edition of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. If you want to check out any of the movies that we've discussed today, use the links in the video description down below.
And if you want What's On to come directly into your ear holes but not your eye holes, this is available on all available podcast platforms.
But we'll see you next month for more What's On. I've been Luke Owen.
And I've been Laurie Blake.
And that's What's On.